Still rocking the clan tag, though, obviously. But yeah, no, Team NV, I believe, either has disbanded or a lot of players have been dropped. Bunny is no longer playing for them. And look at this.
Is that still a Team NV shirt he's wearing as well? Am I crazy?
Yes, he's also wearing his
Yeah, there it is. Yeah. All right, so he's really fully still in the spirit of his things, right? But yeah, you know, he's fantastic of a player. It's kind of a shame to me that he's teamless right now. Yeah, you know, the thing does, like, sometimes the team just kind of disappears. It happens. It happens. Tragedy. But maybe he's gonna be able to get a bit of extra money in his pocket through this tournament, right? So might soften the blow.
Yeah, I mean, Team NV did a great job, I think, of carrying on a lot of the players from. I mean, you're looking at the generic Green Wings. They did a great job of kind of retaining those players and supporting the scene, obviously. But obviously now, not going to be having that kind of team environment. So it's different. A lot of players, you know, they have different responses to that. Some players do extremely well in team environments. I mean, if you think about someone like Bunny, I think, who had those practice partners, and someone like Creator. And they really benefited from it. As here we go. So it was that Proxy 2Rax. We did get the camera zoom on it earlier. So for the second time today, gonna be having that Bunny already pulling an SCV here. I think he knows just from the timing of that Reaper that this was proxied. And we can I can continue the team talk later because right now we got Reaper battles and Bunny needs to be careful here. GUMIHO trying to cut him off. The factory does finish. Needs to be careful until a second Reaper pops out. SCV is going to have to be pulled. KD8 charge to push all of them back as now the second Reaper is here. Still, though, that health, such a valuable resource here and so many low SCVs. You got to be so careful. Already two going down. The Reaper micro is good, but now a third one showing up here for GUMIHO. As all those Reapers are so low, but it just doesn't matter. Hellion now out. Should be able to try and stop this. Even the Hellion, though, going to get focused down. 4 SCVs fall as Hellion and the Marines now trying their best, but still this Reaper micro from GUMIHO just so good.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it will be a straight up win, but I would kind of like GUMIHO's position here a little bit better, just because of the, well, a little bit of a delay there, a couple of kills on the workers. Bunny's spirits might be a little bit jumbled here. Again, can be a bit emotional from time to time.
Yeah, we're not going to get those barracks lifted off. GUMIHO just going to transition out. Pretty happy with the damage he got. Evens up that worker count. And that's about the best you can ask for. You know, especially if you're not a Maru, you know, it's really hard to play from a lower worker count in TVT. Maru just kind of does magic that feels like a lot of other players can't. But GUMIHO does a good job. Just I think this opening has been very successful for him. And I mean, if you're looking at the starport timing, it is going to be quite a little bit later than his opponents. Right now, GUMIHO just finished off his factory, but look at this. Just a single Reaper goes in, gets 2 more worker kills.
3?
Ooh, almost gets the 3rd.
Yeah, that was quite nice. The barracks there just fully captivating the attention of Bunny's units, and with the other Reaper there on the other side, the Hellions even came to the edge, and perfect opportunity for Reaper number 2 to come in from the back. Nice little setup there from GUMIHO, and well, working out.
Yep. Bunny is going to be able to push back the barracks, and a cloak on the way from GUMIHO. Just like it is, you know, switch it up in every corner. Starts with a Proxy 2Rax, heads into the cloak Banshee. Bunny can never be safe. Bunny has to cover all of his bases, and we'll see if he does that. Medevac is coming out after this first Medevac. I imagine that's going to be a tech lab. Onto that starport, or immediately into the reactor. So it might just be the immediate Viking production here for Bunny. If that's the case, we're going to be really looking at the command center energy for when he has scans available if that Banshee goes across the map. It could also just be used to help defend, as Bunny, I was going to say, preparing for that push out. Looks like he might loop around and just try and, yeah, dodge out of the way of any vision. But has a tank. It's right now 2 Cyclones to 1. The Cyclones, of course, for GUMIHO does mean that he can get out on the map and he can actually take these aggressive trades. But there comes the medevac going on, and Cyclone picked up. So it doesn't fall, and Bunny's going to keep going with this pressure. Says, listen, I haven't lost that much. I can keep this going. Only 4 Marines, though, is so risky as... Oh. A little bit of friendly fire there from Bunny.
Whoops. That's all right.
Yeah, seeing the Banshees.
I wonder if GUMIHO went for these Banshees because he saw they the starport not producing off of the tech lab there on the other side as well. Kind of wondering how much of a reaction that was. Yeah, well, I have to write this down somewhere for a potential later question. As we will be having winner interviews as well, so keep that in mind in case we do see a really solid question somewhere. Who knows? Who knows?
Yes, here we go. Look at this. Bunny just finding an opening. The Cloak Banshees, they're across the map. They haven't found any damage yet, but now they're going to the main, and there's no detection here. This is going to start to be brutal, looking for the tank pick off on these reinforcements. But Bunny's forced to lift off on the natural, and I mean, arguably, no matter how much damage these Banshees get, unless it's catastrophic, look at this. The Cyclones are here, too. And GUMIHO is also just going to clean out Bunny's base. All of the workers are going to go down. It's now 23 to 37 piece. GUMIHO actually pulled his SCVs before Bunny got that siege up.
Oh, no.
Scan goes down.
That's just one scan. He doesn't have another
Both
scan.
the Banshees? Oh, no, they're still alive. Yeah, the Cloak is running out of energy now. Bunny needs to keep this contain going. But, yeah, both players now in really tough positions as the Vikings are going to get traded out. Bunny's going to end up losing that trade. Try to stop with the Cyclone.
I think GUMIHO is just going to produce more right here, eventually break the contain, which is already seemingly broken. Yeah. Oh, man, this is rough for Bunny. I don't know. He still has 33 army supply, and, well, at least some of that is in siege tanks, right? If this siege tank falls, that's going to be a major blow.
Ooh, nice positioning. Yeah, I was going to catch out these Cyclones, which are a nice pick off here. GUMIHO. Those Cyclones were very, very important for keeping up map pressure. But you just see that trade. I mean, 21 SCVs going down for Bunny. The fact that I don't think he expected that counterattack. I mean, he saw the Banshees. I don't know if he just thought it was one Banshee to help stop his attack. I don't think he saw the second. And so them coming across the map with the Cloak, just able to get so much damage. And now look at this. GUMIHO even getting his army ahead just to make sure that there's no way that Bunny pushes this. But a good scan knocks down a few Vikings, and the Viking count actually severely in the favor of Bunny. He's just been focusing on producing those in the meanwhile. And now look at this. Tank's going to be dropped onto the low ground here. Vikings used for high ground control. Yeah. Bunny continuing on the pressure. This is, I mean, this is what we're expecting. It's Bunny. It's aggression. He is not letting up. He's not going to stop. He's behind this. He is resaturating his base. Is he actually? No, there's no worker production. It's just probably mules.
Oh dear. Bunny has to make something work here, however. That's kind of the feeling that I'm getting. GUMIHO is already coming in from the back line, and the Vikings are not there the Vikings to defend, and I think that might be
I think it's enough. No, the Vikings, they're fighting this. Two of them survive. There's still a tank here for Bunny. It's so close.
How is he going to mount another offensive, though? I guess he does have 30 army supply over 15, so double the army supply. But all of it has to get all the way across the map. Most of it already is, so I mean, it's a formidable force. But it's so fragile. Though. It feels so fragile, Titan.
Yeah,
combat shield.
Combat shield. I mean, this could get focused down. I don't think GUMIHO actually has stim. I think this combat shield is an attempt to get his Marines some more HP. Great pickups there onto the Marines just to save them. As Bunny, he's trying to make this work. I mean, he has a tank, a Liberator, and a Dream. Essentially, he's working off a very, very small economy. It's only 28 workers to the 51 of GUMIHO's. That Liberator is going to go around to try and reposition. It looks like Bunny's just going to try and swing this now to the natural. He has 2 tanks. Liberator Siege is a little bit far away. Oh my god, the SCVs are being pulled into the grinder. As GUMIHO, is this a bit premature? Look at that, 14 SCVs go down. GUMIHO just got a little bit ahead of himself thinking he could break this. But he fought into the Liberator Siege, into the 2 tanks, and now it's completely dead even in supplies.
Yeah, still ahead on the overall worker count by quite a bit, which shows how large that overall gap was. But he needs more time. His army wasn't ready yet for the push out, and he tried to do it anyway. And, well, did he just dig himself a deeper hole, or did he trade out well enough now to have the follow-up here be a bit better?
No, I don't think so. I mean, the stim pack, it's just not... you don't have enough Marines for the stim pack to be impactful. He's going to try and take the fight now outside the Liberation Zone, and he does manage to get rid of the Marines. The Liberator is now going to be forced back, but Bunny has equalized this game, 32 workers to 32, or 30 to 32. It is so close, but now I don't think Bunny can keep this up. I mean, 3 tanks, if you lose these, then that might just be the game. I think, Bunny, you got to try and back this up. But he's going to keep on the pressure.
Neither of these players were very willing to bring in their siege tanks as well. As soon as they went in with, you know, GUMIHO with the SCVs and the Marines, Bunny there with the Vikings and all his Marines, and Medevac as well, but both of them keeping their siege tanks in the back line. Maybe hoping that a counterattack would happen, and then, you know, suddenly they just get bombarded by siege tank fire. I'm not entirely certain, but it makes me wonder if things would have happened differently if Bunny had taken with him those 3 siege tanks with the push, right?
Oh, GUMIHO's doing it again. 2 medevacs slipped out here just to try and find some damage across the map, and there's nothing at home. There's a tank and a Viking that are moving out across the map, but they are not... I mean, they might be turned around. I just don't think there's a lot here for Bunny at home. Everything is across the map. It's tanks and Vikings. He does not have a solid Marine count. The tank on the low ground is getting repaired, but it's not enough, and that's just going to be GG. GUMIHO holds on, but Bunny, man, he made it close.
In the bottom left side, we have ourselves the blue Terran once again for Storm Gaming. Already 1 point on the board. Just needs 1 more to get him to the winner's match. It's GUMIHO, the Towel Terran. How cool would it be if instead of clothes, those were all towels behind him?
Ladies and gentlemen, top right, it's Bunny. Obviously, he's still representing Team NV. I believe they're still, I think someone said in chat, they're still a friendly clan. So, you know, obviously still supporting each other, just not an official team. GUMIHO, there's just a rack of towels.
Yeah. He's ready to go. He sometimes reloads his towel, right? He throws it away, grabs another one, and just keeps going.
Yeah, he has a towel gun that he just pops open, stuffs in a new towel. Gosh, someone needs to make a fighting game based off of player nicknames. It'd be great. GUMIHO just fighting with a towel.
All right.
He's like a cyborg. Instead of fighting with any of his augments, it's just a towel. He slaps his opponents.
Bunny's shaking his head there. Did something happen? He was like, ooh, no. I don't know. He's not doing... He hasn't taken a second gas yet. Yeah. He's just going for the quick expand. Yes, he is. The single gas expand. Well, it's one of the first non-proxy 2 Rexes we've had in these TVTs, so he's in good company here.
Yeah, I like this about Bunny. I mean, he's willing to take risks here on the build orders, on his openings, because he knows that, hey, listen, GUMIHO's probably going to be playing this pretty safe. It's probably going to be factory before command center, and so I can afford to get out this fast CC, especially because I have a ramp up into my natural. Excuse me. He has a ramp up into his natural, and because it's a bigger map, just all those things together means that, hey, you're pretty comfortable taking this command center first. And I think, you know, Bunny, maybe talking to himself a little bit here. He's a very expressive player, I gotta say. I've been watching this camera for the past minute, and that's just how Bunny is. He's very expressive. He's very kind of engaged with the game, and you see that in his reactions. And so you can kind of tell, you know, what is the plan here for him. You know, his response, maybe it's just the fact that maybe his build order isn't working out the way he wanted, but I think he's gonna be pretty happy with this opening because, hey, you know that GUMIHO's not gonna be aggressive. You have an earlier command center, and you're really not going to be that far behind in something like the starport timing even. Really, the only delay that there is for Bunny is the fact that his factory is getting up a later tech lab.
Yep. Yeah, and, you know, it's that second command center producing the SCVs a little bit sooner here, getting that orbital energy farming up quite early on here as well. It's going to give you a lot of mules, you know, or at least... I think he's gonna have like maybe 1 or 2 extra mules over GUMIHO, and that's quite a bit, isn't it?
Yeah. No, it's really is just. I like it. Again, I like Bunny. I really love how he orders his builds and his openings in series. I think it makes a lot of sense, and I think he does a really good job of reading how the opponent is going to play sometimes. And that's what's happened this game. Raven's already in production. More and more Hellions coming out. I do think you want to swap over, this factory right about now is when you want to get that factory swapped over so you can start your Cyclone and tank production. So yeah, things just working out nicely here for Bunny. GUMIHO, though, is the one that's going to be getting a little bit aggressive. I believe that's 4 Marines and a Cyclone heading across the map in a medevac. This is not, an attempt to kill your opponent. This is, hey, let's see how many SCVs I can get. Because I got a Cyclone, I got 4 Marines, send it into the main, see what it can get done. Does Bunny have is it he go Viking first here? No, just the Raven, okay. But yeah, the Raven spots it. It can back up. Auto turret is a big threat, so GUMIHO not able to go for that into the main. And again, any non-aggression is kind of just good for Bunny. Because again, he has that 2-worker lead consistently. And he's just going to have a little bit more money. And so eventually should probably start up even his 3rd command center faster if that's where he wants to go with this game, not just 2 base pressure. What I'm interested in is there's a lot of Hellions. Cyclone production is continuing for Bunny. Do you go mech here?
Well, he doesn't have a 4th gas yet. I mean, if that comes in within the next couple of seconds, maybe. Otherwise, it's gonna be rough. I like that what GUMIHO kind of was doing with those units as well, because it feels like it was kind of an initial setup of units to be safe. Didn't get attacked, and then he tried to turn it into something aggressive. This fight here,
more auto turrets,
well, it's just kind of trading, right? The early game units. It's the Hellions that you don't really necessarily need anymore later down the line.
Oh no, Raven goes down.
That's rough.
Yeah, I mean that trade. I don't think that was good for Bunny. He's fighting into a tank. He's fighting into, a GUMIHO who's very confident in taking that trade because he has a lot of units on the defense. And Bunny, that's not really a cohesive army. It's it's a Reaper with 6 Hellions and some Cyclones and a Raven over the top.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's not, that's what I mean as well, right? It's not something he's terribly afraid of losing right now. I guess, I'm not sure what his siege fin count is. He may only have 1, so... yeah, it does feel a little bit like he put himself on thin ice, but overall, I can see why he did it, right? It's like, well, maybe something happens, maybe we trade okay, and these units, they really don't translate at all at any point in the future, so let's just try to make use of them right now.
Absolutely. As I mean, GUMIHO is in a really good spot now. That trade, you clear out a lot of the army of Bunny, and at this point, that worker count has evened out as enough time has passed. Cyclone goes down to the tank siege. Upgrades starting for both players at the same time. Stim a little bit ahead for GUMIHO, but it's not enough of a timing that it should really be a massive difference maker. And it just looks like this game is going to go into a pretty standard mid game. I do feel like Bunny, I mean, I think he was hoping to have a few more advantages than he really does, especially off of that CC immediately after the barracks. But GUMIHO's just, played this very, very solidly, defended the initial push out, and is really comfortable now. Both players on 3 bases. GUMIHO even has a worker lead. Bunny, though, slamming some mules here, going to get that income up. And now it just all comes down to the positioning game. And this is what we saw in Maru vs. Cure. We're going to see it again. It's going to be players moving around, trying to keep track of their opponent's armies, where they are, and then also trying to counter that movement or even match it, depending on how they want to play this game out.
What an adorable marine placement. Right behind that cliff there. It's like trying to be sneaky. Pretty cool. Upgrades in this game very close together, by the way. We saw that play a big difference maker in the previous series between Maru and, of course, Cure. But here, very close together. Quite unlikely, isn't it, that we'll get a moment where these Marines are fighting with a +1/1 advantage. Well, I mean, they're on the opposite side of the map, right? It's not going to happen here. Unless if they start running right now, the both of them.
Yeah. Scans going down, combat shields, of course, on the way for both players. GUMIHO immediately starts up the 2-2, and obviously that could be where we start to see the difference here, is if Bunny is focusing on unit production, doesn't have quite the economy to start his own 2-2 in a good time. Then GUMIHO might pull pretty far ahead here. Look at that, Interference Matrix is going down, but one tank is still there. It just doesn't matter. GUMIHO running through 3 more tanks. Siege up, though. The Interference Matrices from Bunny are so good. And he looks like he's going to absolutely clean up this fight. One tank survives, and now the counterattack by Bunny is going to shut down that double drop from GUMIHO. A very nice play from our red Terran, but unfortunately you're still looking at that 2-2 timing, and Bunny only now just starts up his. That's like a 30 to 45 second window where he's not going to have that upgrade.
Man, that was terrifying, Titan. Like, for a moment I thought Bunny was just going to die right there. If not for those 3 extra siege tanks coming in and helping out. My goodness, that was clutch.
No, really, really well done by Bunny. And again, I mean, the interference matrices, the counter from him shutting down a lot of those tanks was just so well done. I mean, this fight, yeah,
Great
Bunny, it just looks like
Bunny.
he's crushing through.
As they'll be moving further forwards, where's the siege tanks of GUMIHO now? They're, well, not anywhere he wants them. GG is called and Bunny ties up the show. Intro him in. Make it happen.
All right. It's Bunny.
It's
Top
GUMIHO.
right hand. GUMIHO, top right hand corner. I forgot they don't switch colors. I was talking about Bunny. You said
Yeah, no,
I
yeah,
can't believe it.
I did. I realized later down the line. That's my bad. This is him. This is Bunny. There you go. He's the red Terran. Teamless right now, but still representing those team colors. That's just how much team spirit he has.
Yeah.
There you go. Great guy. Great guy. Only hear good stories about him as well, don't you? Overall, at least, like, you know, from I guess people are more likely to tell good stories rather than bad stories about people usually. But still, you know,
I don't know. Twitter would like
sometimes
to
we
have
just
a word
don't-
with you about that.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess so. I don't find those reliable though. Sometimes. you
Yeah,
know,
that's fair. That's fair.
You know. But yeah. I know. Rotterdam, for example, right? He always talks incredibly positive about Bunny's personality and just he's a vibrant guy. Likes to hang out at home story cups and stuff like that as well. Right? He's a fun guy. So
Yeah.
yeah.
He is. Yeah, he's a really awesome player, and you can just tell. You know, he's so passionate about the game. I thought it was interesting when we got the full screen on his camera. I don't know if Bunny was talking to himself or if he was just making sounds, but we saw him doing something there. You know, a lot of players I think do that. I mean, if you think about players who talk to themselves, Cyril between games and at the start of games will talk himself through like his mindset is what he said in interviews. You know, he'll talk through the game, he'll talk through what he needs to do better or his mindset, and just I think, you know, a lot of different players have different strategies for kind of preparing for games and for especially for kind of getting themselves in the right headspace.
Yeah. I mean, it's a weird thing getting in the right headspace overall. You just kind of got to navigate it yourself, right? You're the only person who can. Until you find the stuff that works for you. How did Bunny get the first shot there? Excuse me? Game?
Just some magic as Bunny is just kind of... Oh, it's so close. I mean, I think when the Reaper has to change directions...
Yeah.
Oh, so close. Come on.
No.
It has to be caught. It has to be caught. No way.
Oh, there it
He
is.
survives.
Oh,
He's insane, as now
oh.
he's tracing down GUMIHO.
Holds in
KDA
pursuit.
charge.
Need for speed. Hot pursuit. There it is. The game.
Oh, my. I remember playing that. That was a blast from the past. So,
If only if they were Hellions. It would have worked even better.
so close to sniping off the Widow Mine.
Hey, ooh.
Yeah, I don't
Careful
think he
there.
wants to... I mean, yeah, might just sacrifice here a Reaper. Gets a kill on an SCV.
Bad. Some splash
Pretty
from that
nice
Reaper.
there. Yeah.
There you go.
Now just taking this fight straight up. Reaper being able to micro back. The Hellion is so low. A few more shots. But he ends up losing the Hellion. And overall, the early trades, I mean, they're not really as important. They're players trying to get small advantages. You're trying to distract your opponent. Behind this, what really matters is the build order. As Bunny is getting a tank, is getting a medevac. He's going to be looking to bring that across the map a lot quicker with that medevac. And on the other side, GUMIHO, Cyclone first, obviously, a lot more safe. Gives you defensive and offensive options.
Yep. that Widowmine opening, you do see that usually being brought along with these Marines as well. So, you know, getting that Widowmine, actually a pretty nice catch right there. Definitely taking a bit of the oomph out of this harassment.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Widowmine, you know, it does have its purposes later on. It can surprise your opponent. You can place it just somewhere. You can drop it in. You can, you know, it can really shut down a lot of the pressures. Here we go. Look at this GUMIHO just slipping this medevac across the map. It's only 5 Marines, but there's not a lot at home here for Bunny. They're unstimmed Marines. They're just going to walk up. There's 2 in the base for Bunny, but with the medevac healing, this is just going to get so hard. You're going to start to lose a lot of SCVs, but Bunny is also in the main, has the tank sieged up. GUMIHO not going to try and fight it straight up. Cyclone's being brought on in, but the Cyclone's getting focused down. One is going to fall. The lock-on is broken, but the Marines are also going down as that Cyclone is so low. It's not going to fall. The tank, oh, nice shots here. Is going to get picked up. Should be able to be boosted out. Oh, Bunny, no!
Oh, man. Oh. Yeah, I think he was holding his mini-map upside down. I don't know. He tried to go back into the top right. But, oh, man. Those Marines just a little bit too close.
Yeah. No, that definitely hurts for Bunny. Those are units that you wanted to keep alive, especially the tank, losing that. I mean, it just means that the trade really isn't altogether that worthwhile. Surprisingly, even though he lost 5 workers, through all of that, Bunny did manage to make them back because he was just producing SCVs behind that. As now, look at this. Just nice timing. Raven going to spot out the Banshee. There is no cloak with it this time. It's just going to be a regular Banshee. But at the same time, medevac going towards the main. And GUMIHO, I just love how much harassment he's throwing out. You know, is really just... I mean, it was game 1 as well. Just constant harassment, constant units going across the map and trying to find counterattacks. There's a tank in the main base, though, and that does kind of shut down the potential damage of that drop.
Okay, so Bunny should be alright in this position. The harassment for GUMIHO, of course, a lot less committed with just Marines here. You're not sieged up and need 10 minutes before you can get yourself out of there again. Which is, you know, again, quite nice for GUMIHO because he did get a bit more done there in the early parts. Right, didn't he get like 5 SCV kills, was it? Yeah.
Yeah, 5 SCV kills.
It's just with the Marines, right? Oh man, it's rough. I don't even think he lost the medevac all that many of those Marines.
No, he was able to, I think, get them out as well. They might have been cleaned up. But right now, we are seeing Bunny just try and poke around, find the Banshee, find the medevac with the Cyclone and the Raven. Stim pack start up for both players. 1-1 should be following not too much longer for Bunny. Actually, does he have his engineering base? I mean, he scans GUMIHO, so he knows that GUMIHO is working on those upgrades. So we know that that is probably in the back of Bunny's mind, but he has a very, very early stim. And no, the engineering bays are only now being started up for Bunny. That is very late.
Yeah, and he's kind of being out-rotated here as well. His army could still make a move quicker into the bases of GUMIHO, but it looks like GUMIHO definitely just going to arrive here a little bit quicker. The Banshee giving away a bit of these plans and causing Bunny to move backwards. So GUMIHO's army staying patiently nearby. And, oh, imagine. Okay, no. Scans, Marines there, kind of showing what's up.
The army's a bit too big for Bunny, for GUMIHO just to fight that straight up. Raven's going to try and get some auto-turret harassment here. Oh, the tank also being sieged up here as the Vikings trying to split, trying to knock down both the Ravens. But, I mean, 12 workers go down for this. 13, 15 SCVs fall.
Where?
It is just... the auto-turrets. It's just auto-turrets, man.
I was just looking at those siege tanks, and I was like, wow, he keeps both those siege tanks alive. That's amazing. He prevents damage. And then I look at the SCP numbers, and it's like, what?
Yeah.
Where did that come from?
No, GUMIHO uses all of the energy. All of the energy. 2 auto turrets in the main, 1 at the tank, 2 at the natural as well. Knocks down a lot of workers. Yeah, and again, this is a Bunny who's behind on upgrades. 1-1 just finished for GUMIHO. Bunny hasn't even started his +1 attack. He has +1 armor on the way, and that might have been a bit of a mistake. He might have doubled up 2 upgrades on 1 armory. I'm not entirely sure. He just didn't have the gas for +1 weapons, but you know, there's a lot of disadvantages here for Bunny. You're down in workers, you're down in upgrades. It's never a situation that you want to be in a mirror matchup, especially because that just means that your opponent is going to have more of the same units, and that means that you know, in a fight where all micro is equal, you're not going to win.
No, it will be quite a difficult fight there. In all honesty, I thought that Bunny may have like two options right now. Either try to go across the map with his Ravens still full energy and GUMIHO's Ravens no energy. That is a very clear advantage right there as well. You know, you can anti-armor missile, kind of making up for the upgrades right there. You can interference, make auto turrets. There's a whole array of things you can do, especially because they're still quite close on army supply. But the other option, right, it doesn't feel like there's much of a play where he just kind of waits a little bit and then starts getting aggressive again. Because now he's, like you said, behind on those upgrades. He just didn't have as much production, even though his army supply is still slightly ahead. Only 2. Oh, 4 now. There you go. But, yeah, you know what I mean? You may just want to consider sitting back and waiting for those upgrades to kind of start equaling out, which could be a long while.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at that 2-2 timing for GUMIHO. It's so far ahead. Bunny hasn't even finished the rest of his 1-1 upgrades. And once you have that difference, 2-2 versus 1-1, it is night and day. You're essentially doubling. I mean, I actually don't know the math, but you're getting a lot of damage out of it from your Marines. And yeah, GUMIHO's up in supply right now. We're going to see this push out. What does the tank counts look like? I mean, I think Bunny does have more tanks, but GUMIHO's going to be the one to take the fight first. Siege up does force him back. Yes, 9 tanks to 6. I mean, that's really the advantage here for Bunny, is that tanks. And look at the Ravens coming on in with the interference, making sure his auto turrets go down. Those tanks should just fall. Bunny, again, just somehow finds the better fight. He focuses down the non-disabled tank first with those Marines at the top of the screen, and then takes down the one that was disabled. Bunny just making it work with these fights somehow with the micro, but it has to be careful here. You're sandwiched between 2 groups of Marines as the siege up comes through. The tanks are disabled, though. GUMIHO taking the fight. He doesn't have 2-2 just yet, but it doesn't matter as the tanks are just barely maybe gonna survive. No, the Marines are enough. Bunny's supply drops. He got just a little bit too aggressive there, chasing down the army of GUMIHO.
Oh, man. Felt like there was a breakage there, but unfortunately, Bunny not quite being able to make it all the way through for him. GUMIHO still stands, and he stands quite strong now with about 25 extra supply overall. It's not just those SCVs now, also a slight army advantage. And those upgrades still being quite persistent, aren't they? +3/+3 started up. And that +2 weapons attack for Bunny, that is gonna be quite a while. I really think, like, probably the upgrades, right, were, again, quite a big factor there. Because it did come down to just bare numbers of Marines. Even with the GUMIHO just flat out losing the Raven engagement there. Yeah, he managed to recuperate because of that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can just tell. I mean, that wasn't even the upgrades, though, in that fight. That was just, I think Bunny got a little bit too aggressive. He pushed forward a little bit too far. These tanks, they aren't sieged up just yet. Bunny just does not have a lot, and GUMIHO is pushing on in. It is 100 in army supply to 65, and GUMIHO's looking for the death push. The tanks are knocked down. The third base is lifted. Bunny's counterattack is going to be shut down, as now GUMIHO fighting a little bit too far forward into tanks, but still. 21 SCVs go down, 13 fall for GUMIHO, but mind you, he has had the stronger economy for a majority of this game. Bunny did finish up his +2 armor. That is the one saving grace here, is he is at least a little bit closer on these upgrades. The tank shots, they don't kill these Marines as fast, but it just doesn't matter. GG! GUMIHO is going on to that winner's match.